bans here? What are teams prioritizing? And we'll see that meta develop throughout, I'm sure, as changes come in the game as well. But I'm really interested to see and compare it to the end of our last season, what's important. And we see Lolita being taken out of the game immediately, now become one of the top bans.
Yeah, I think, I think what happened with that is everyone realized that with this common marksman in the gold lane now, and you have picks like YSS who are amazing in the jungle, you know, a lot of these marksman junglers, and you have this double marksman lineup essentially. Lolita just became this really good counter for that. Not only that, but she has a nice first skill. She has a nice first skill stun. She has a decent ultimate. She does have some counters for ultimate. All you have to do is CC her a little bit and it stops it and you lose it. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, maybe they plan on coming with a double marksman lineup from the side of Sentinel Esports, so they just want to get that out of the way.
Yeah, Lolita, I mean, Yi being kept over from last season. I expect to see some of the picks, maybe like Farsa being banned out still. I think Farsa's still at the top. And we may be seeing some of that Lily and Kagura plays come in as they're like the second tier for mages. But I'm interested to see what marksmen, what carries, assassins get picked out. We saw Haya being at the top of the bans throughout last season. But we've seen other things prioritized, Valentina being one of them. So letting Farsa go through, at least for now, instead of Valentina.
Yeah, I think Valentina's still an issue, but Farsa, you know, she recently had this nerf. They added, I've been thinking about how that's going to affect in this league. Farsa had what, 10 seconds added to her ultimate, just about.
Oh, really?
So, I mean, that's a pretty big change, you know? That's a huge change. So I'm wondering if if we're going to see her as much as we did last season. It seems like a lot of people are still opting for this Eve ban. So even though she just also got a bit of a nerf with her ultimate cooldown, I think that, she's still kind of worrisome. I mean, the slowdown from her second skill, the slowdown from her ultimate, it's just too much trouble. I think it's a lot more trouble than Farsa's ult right now. Yes, Farsa has the mobility, but I got a feeling we might not see a whole lot of Farsa. But again, this is the beginning of the season. These teams are ready with new strategies.
Yeah, I mean, Beatrix, marksman, I can't wait to see how this all plays out. Now, you say Farsa won't be used, but I've always thought that Farsa was one of the best rotating mid laners of the game. Having that access to the bird early just allows her to get to top and bottom, really affect the map early. And Glue being banned. Now, we've heard about this. We've played in the XP lane, absolutely dominating, dunking on people. So it's good to see it knocked out. Yeah.
I was watching some of the scrims, and you know, we've been running scrims for the past week between certain teams, and everyone's either been running him or they've been banning him, and it's happened ever since that last patch. He's just become this like a whole new thing. But because of that, what are we seeing? We're seeing Clint fall through the lines in last season, M3, now like Clint's been a dominator in the gold lane. So with some of these new bans coming in, we're gonna see these picks like Beatrix and Clint fall through.
I mean, in the lane, I think Clint has quite the advantage over Beatrix, so I'm not sure if they're going to run that through the mid lane or something. We'll see as these team comps develop, but YZ, man, such a strong initiator and able to break up the team fight and has so much mobility to be able to roam. It's a great fighter for the XP lane coming in, but I would give that gold lane over to the Clint if it's the Beatrix matchup. Yeah,
I mean, I think in the early game, Clint has, I mean, honestly, Beatrix is, with this nerf on Beatrix, it makes me worried about her because I feel like they were pretty even before the nerf on Beatrix, and now she just saw a pretty bad nerf. So now I definitely want to give it to Clint in the gold lane, but still, I mean, Beatrix is always going to be kind of scary, so we will see how it turns out. I do like the Yuzan pick, you know, good for getting to that back lane, but quickly Sentinel, I mean, quickly responds with, all right, you want to pick a sustainable hero? We're going to bring in this Lunox.
Had to burn him down. Now Esme been passed through, and so is Paquito. So not seeing fighters prioritized at all thus far, and that's something we saw a lot of in our last season. Esme, Paquito were at the top of the picks or bans in almost every game. So it's cool to see that this whole game has completely changed in what, a month's time, and Lily is going to be locked in. We're going to see that in the mid lane.
Yeah, Lilia has, I mean, it seems like she hasn't not been a pretty hot pick for these teams for over a year now. I mean, her early game ability to just tower dive, hit those black shoes, get out of the tower, bring her life back, like she's able to really put pressure on in these early games. But this means that we are definitely going to see that Beatrix in the gold lane up against that Clint. Yeah. And I have a feeling they might have issues. Coming up on these bans, though, neither team has picked a single jungle yet. I'm wondering if that's what we're going to see from the side of Magical Unicorns. It's been, we saw this Lance, we see this Roger. They're going for Paquito, who has been a popular jungle pick on and off here. I'm wondering if they're just going to kind of focus on jungles here or mix it up a little bit.
Yeah, I'm guessing coming out of the X squad that maybe we could see like a marksman somewhere in the jungle. So many of them have been turned down, but that YSS is always that late game powerhouse, and he provides so much vision in the early game. So I think YSS is a strong pick for the other side, but I just don't know how they counter up if an assassin like a Ling comes through. Maybe we'd see like a Saber or a weird pick come out like that for the side of Zen. I'm not really sure how this goes with the junglers. Like, again, this is their first game. We don't know these teams so well. Yeah. They could they might even be playing what they normally play with the Lapu ban. Interesting. You don't see Lapu ban very often.
You don't see Lapu ban very often, but normally Lapu's like an amazing counter to Farza, you know, but he can get on this back line. He can cause some disruption against this Beatrix. My guess is they may, I was just about to say, pick a marksman jungle here, and Lapu can definitely be trouble for that. He can just dive onto that back line, especially paired up with this Matilda. I mean, big dive comp right now, looking from the side of Sentinel, and if they lock in this Ling right now, oof, it's definitely it's looking pretty strong from the side of Sentinel, but we also look good. I mean, Granger's kind of fallen off the jungle. We've seen him be viable,
a little bit,
but he's not I wouldn't put him in S tier. You know, I'd say he's a strong A tier, but I wouldn't put him as a top of the line jungler right now.
Yeah, I think there are definitely other junglers. I mean, YSS we talked about earlier, it's just a better pick. But so many people have played so many matches on Granger, and he's been strong in the meta for so long. People are so comfortable in this pick, and teams are used to playing around it. And I would love to see an Edith come through. But back to the Granger, they're locking in, the Unicorns have locked in this double marksman comp, so they need a little bit of peel to give them some space to work, because that Ling and Matilda are going to be on that ass coming in the back line. The Uranus is going to provide a lot of space for the Clint to work. So I do like what Sentinel's brought, but I think if it goes to the late game, we have to give this advantage to the Unicorns.
Yeah. But I mean, they have on the side of Sentinel, you got Lunox, amazing late game. Clint, amazing late game. You got this Uranus that just came out of nowhere, who's going to be super sustainable. It looks pretty even, but I don't know. I like the draft coming from Sentinels. If I got to give it to someone on the draft right now, I'm giving it to Sentinels.
Really? Yeah. I'm going the other way with this. See, I'm going to give it to the Unicorns. They just locked in Tig, going to give and YZ a lot of space for this double marksman to work. If Sentinel does not end it early with this Ling and get rolling, they're going to get bombed on the 12-minute mark, 14-minute mark when those marksmen get their items.
All right, we'll see. I mean, you're definitely right about that. If Unicorns can hold it together and not take any early game deaths, I think having this Ling and having this Matilda, you're definitely going to want to see this. We're definitely going to see the side of Sentinel put some pressure on Unicorns early game. That's their game plan. You know, let's put some pressure on, cop some early game rotations, early game kills, and just steamroll. And then they have the backup of Clint and Uranus for the end game in case it gets taken to that. But we are jumping into game 1 of the North American Squad League Season 2. Let's do this, Ben.
Yeah, man, game 1, season 2. This is huge for all North America, man. These are our top teams in North America coming together, pushing to make, honestly, a name for themselves in the North American scene, which we've seen has gotten so much hype and so much clout throughout the past few months. This is huge for the league, for these players, for the honestly, North American scene as a whole.
Yeah, it's going to be big. I think, you know, teams are starting to come together more. I feel like teams are starting to come together more. They're hungry. They see that there's finally a little bit of a tournament scene, a little bit of a league scene, and we're starting to see some real challenges, new teams come up. And I'm glad that we see these 2 new teams play first, because it just shows that, you know, NA has more than just BTK, Area 77, TSU, and GOSU.
Right, I think in the mid lane, Tig took a lot of damage, so that's going to affect his ability to rotate and answer this. Lito's definitely going to go over the side of Sentinel early, and that's just a little bit of that early game advantage we talked about from the early game. The Unicorns have to just bide their time here. Don't get caught in these fights early, and see if they can last to get those marksmen rolling.
Yeah, I love the way that Tig's sitting, you know, patiently giving vision on this blue buff. They know that Ling hasn't gone for it yet, but Ling opts to not go for the blue buff. Wait a minute, he's going to come down this way. Maybe this is some new rotations that some of these teams are working on. He doesn't want to go up that way at all yet. Maybe try to get a gank on this gold lane first.
Yeah, in the top lane, we saw YZ almost take out Uranus under the turret. It was so close, but then almost died to turret damage himself. So we see YZ winning that levels 1 through 3 for that Uranus. And once it comes to that like level 8, level 9, his sustain is going to dominate YZ in the lane. So he needs to get it done quickly in that lane before the rest of Sentinel gets up there and takes it over.
Yeah, and Granger does have a level advantage on the Ling since he decided not to go for that blue buff. Tig does get the disruption, delays him a bit more, and doesn't die, and does a great job. I mean, Ling's sitting behind right now up against this Granger.
Ooh, it costs Flicker, but Granger he's going to get out just fine on that. But it costs Tig his Flicker there, and Tig needs that Flicker for the level 4 to make a play. It's so big to have that ultimate Flicker, which people know I cannot land myself. But it did delay a little bit, but was it worth the Flicker? You know, how much is that worth in the grand scheme of things? We'll have to see as the turtle fight comes up.
Yeah, first turtle is up. Seeing a little bit of zoning coming from Oh My Wizard coming in. He gets his push on to death. Ling does take half damage. Turtle does go to death, though. First turtle, Tempest of Blades is popped, and he's closing in on Oh My Wizard, but he's forced to pop out because Rosa is on his tracks. Riz is going to be the first one to go down to Prince Reaper, but Death quickly responds by taking out Rosa, but with his final breath, he's able to take out that Clint. It's a 2-for-1 trade to the side of Magical Unicorns. The game is on, Ben.
Yeah, 2-for-1 trade. I mean, that obviously favors the Unicorns. They are the later scaling. They don't have as much power in the early game. It's great for them to get an advantage. But that's kind of bad for Sen, man. They got Turtle, but they lost another member, so that's probably even trade overall, right? But that gives you a little bit of momentum as a side of Unicorns. Say, hey, you know, we're not getting rolled yet, and this is their power spike for the side of Sentinel. So this is really great for Unicorns.
Yeah, it looks like, I mean, I think the only thing that, the thing that really messed up Sentinel is there, too, is they got a death in their gold lane. They got a death on Clint. And this is going to give Beatrix a little bit of an advantage down here. We were worried about her, but it seems like she's holding her own. We might see a bit of an engage here. Death holding these walls, but both teams are just going to back off Ben. At this point, Sentinel doesn't really seem to be doing this early game rush that we thought they would, Ben.
Yeah, and honestly, I have to give that to Tigreal. He has gone into the jungle and gotten vision and been able to predict plays and disrupted and really well. So that Flicker's paying off. He's going to have it up here again against Clint. He may get the kill down here with Beatrix.
Oh, but Clint's able to dash off, but Tigreal does pop that ult, stops him, but he needs to be careful. Oh My Wizard does take a death to hers only, and that is going to go into the hands of that Clint and be very helpful, but the fight is still going. They want another one. Sword taking some damage, pops those black shoes. In comes the ultimate from that Lunox, doing a little bit of damage to everybody, but Clark taking some huge bursts from Kyoto, but the battle keeps going. Hers only popping back and forth, getting some poke damage on them. They are going to be able to take this lane. Kiata popping that ultimate to try to clear the wave as the rest of Team Sentinel go back to base, Ben.
Yeah, Turtle's up, and the Unicorns do have position on it, but that was just a little bit of miscommunication between Tigreal and Beatrix there. Tigreal wanted that kill so bad. Wizard wanted it, but Beatrix was like, no, man, I just want a little turret damage and let's go, and he got extended cut. Now Turtle's down to half health as the Unicorns take it over here, it looks like.
Oh, My Wizard pushing them away, gives Prince Reaper the opportunity to take that turtle. And I think at this point, Prince Reaper just maybe want to back off here, but no, they want to push the fight, come into the jungle, get as much poke damage as they can on Riz, as Sentinel just decides to keep farming. Death getting some damage onto Sora. Does she have black shoes? She does. She's able to pop it, back off, bring Death down to half health, and he has to pop them Tempest of Blades just to get away, and he gets away with a sliver of health, Ben.
Oh, man, walking away, but why is he lurking around in the jungle, seeing if he can catch him, stand off? He won't find him, but, man, that may cost YZ. He does have the ulti to get away. He's going to be just fine. But a lot of interesting rotations here. I have to give it to the Unicorns for keeping it. Oh, and Tig misses a set on the Flicker ulti. That's going to be expensive. That's 2 minutes. He won't have the ability to make a large set for his team.
Oh, they are closing down on Oh My Wizard, though. It seems like he just keeps on trying something, and the rest of the team isn't there. Sora pops black shoes, able to just get away, but no, Raze on the prowl, trying to get something. Hers only starting to really get some damage with that Clint and starting to scale. Up in the top lane, though, we miss it. Death capitalizing, getting the kill onto Rosa, and it might just help them take this top lane, but in comes Prince Reaper. Can he do anything? I don't think he can. Maybe that was a bad engage. Tempest of Blades is popped, and it looks like Death is going to secure another kill, bringing him to 4-1, Ben.
Sentinel has turned on the gas, man. They are not going to let Unicorns get into this late game. They said, guys, we got to win it right here, and they've covered up for those mistakes in the first kind of 2 minutes of the game, and it just looks like Unicorns is trying to do too much right now. They're not at their power spikes. Although they didn't lose too bad in the early game, you're still not at your power spike, but you're still trying to make plays. So I think Wizard just needs to calm down a little bit, peel his marksman rather than trying to engage them and make kills. Just buy him space, get him time, right? Let's just extend this game a little bit more. And honestly, they got wiped across the map, bottom lane, mid lane, top lane. The Unicorns lost a lot right there.
Yeah, I mean, and right now we're looking at a decent gold lead from the side of Sentinel. This is exactly what I was talking about. They can take this lead early. Ling got some he's got some kills. He's getting some items in. He's coming into the second item spike soon. And this is the time that they really need to try to close the gap. I mean, make the gap as big as possible. Right as I'm speaking, Death gets a little too overextended, takes some big burst damage, but in comes Riz to pop that ultimate. Matilda onto Sora and make her pop those black shoes. The turtle fight is on. Neither teams want to give it up, but it looks like Magical Unicorns is going to have to back off. Sora coming back in onto Shiru, but they're just not able to do enough damage on to that Uranus. The turtle is still up though, and neither teams really want to start the full engage. Death trying to do a little bit of damage to the turtle here. Can he secure it? The rest of Team Unicorns is a little too low health, and I don't think they're going to be able to contest this the rest of the way, Ben.
Yeah, they just lost in the health trades in the beginning. Uranus played that so well, getting in the face of the team, soaking so much damage with his sustain. He's back to full HP, no problem. And the Unicorns dumped so much damage and abilities into him, they didn't have him to fight the rest. As we see a little bit of an engage here.
Yeah, the ultimate from Matilda is going to lock in Wizard, and he goes down, and Prince Reaper might be next to take a hit, but he pops that Death Sonata, big burst damage onto Clark Cutie, and Sora is able to get the kill, but they are chasing down Reaper, going under that tower, and up in the top, Tempest of Blades, Death takes out Rosa, but the kill goes to hers only. That is a 2-for-1 trade to the side of Sentinel Esports.
Yeah, YZ's running 1 and 4 right now, and it seems like YZ and Tig, they want to make plays, but the rest of the team's just not at the point to. They have to calm down and chill out a little bit. Man, 5 more minutes, 6 more minutes, and this game completely turns around. The problem for this is that Clint is at 3-1, and he is the late game insurance for the side of Sin, and man, he is going to be popping.
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, right now, and also looking at the side of the Unicorns though, Beatrix hasn't taken a death yet, but like I said, oh, wait a second, Diggle coming from Wizard, but it's just not enough. The damage is too much from Sentinel, and they quickly take him out. I mean, how do you expect to win this game when you have a perfect set and you still lose out in the trade-off, Ben? They're still going. Shiru gets brought down to half health. Another 2-for-1 trade to the side of Sentinel Esports.
I mean, you got to give credit to Tig, man. Yeah. Amazing set. Nobody's there to follow it up, though. Beatrix is clear in the top lane. The team in the mid lane wasn't even expecting it. So just a little bit of communication error. And this may be due to these teams being a little bit new and not having enough experience together, especially in a tournament setting. But, man, Tig, beautiful set. Nobody's there to follow it up, though.
Yeah, nobody's there. He does have some nice sets. In comes Death onto them, but he gets stopped up in that tower and taken out by Kyoto. Luckily, Tig was there to help today. Honestly, Tig doing some great plays here, but the rest of the team just doesn't seem to have the damage right now to back it up.
Yeah, I would say, honestly, at this point in the game, at 10 minutes, Tig, keep making plays, because soon your team's going to be there. Soon you're getting to the point to make it. Don't stop. You're hot. Keep going at it right now. Ling got caught in the off lane doing a little bit too much by himself there.
Ooh, Death Sonata comes in. He does miss a shot, but Sora's able to secure the kill onto Riz. And this is going to give Unicorns position on Lord. Do you think they can take it, Ben?
I don't think they're taking it here. I think they're baiting for kills, honestly. I think they want to fight. It's just too dangerous. Just too much damage coming in.
Oh my god, hers only doing some big burst damage. Able to take out on my Wizard. And in comes Ling from the base. Securing another kill on Prince Reaper. This could be
no.
No, Sora on the trail. Kyoto with that sniper in the bush. Able to do something, but not enough. Does take out Clark Cutie, but now she is all alone up against 4 members of Sentinel. She dives under the tower, pops that ultimate, and pushes Sentinel back. But still, the Lord goes to Sentinel Esports, and this could bring them into these inhibitor towers, Ben.
Yeah, Unicorns just basically, honestly, did the damage for the Sin side to take the turret. They leashed it for him, man. If you don't have the damage to complete that and Ling is on spawn, he can get across the map so fast, and they end up just giving Lord over at 1/10 of its health straight for the smite. Like, this was not a good play for Unicorns to start up, and they were going to pay for it.
Yeah, and not only that, but they're at Lord. They get it down to half health, and Lord brings all of them down. Then they all get knocked up. Oh, my Wizard goes down to Clint, and after that, it was just a GG.
Yeah, Sentinel with a huge swing right there. They've gotten all the auto turrets. And looking for more, T.
Another hit onto my Wizard. I get it, you make the sets, but you're not able to do anything right now. Down goes Rosa. Clark Cutie a little low on health, but he's able to back up. And at this point, Prince Reaper might be next. He goes down to Death, and Sentinel Esports is closing in. 3 members down. Death's hungry. He's under the tower. Tempest Blazes pop, and he's able to get away. But still, the ball's on this man. He knows he's got a lead, and he's gonna keep on pressing.
Yeah, a little bit of a solo queue mentality going in 1 by 1 there. We saw a lot of deaths. Granger was deep past the second tier turret, fighting 2 members, but the rest of the team was in the base. So just a little bit of a 1 by 1 thing here. I want Unicorns to sit back and say, okay, we got to stop the bleeding right now. Let's turtle up in our base, and let's let Tig do what he does with that flicker set and make a big play when we're all here to burst down whoever he sets on.
Yeah, I think Tig, like, at this point, we know. This is the same thing we say every time a team's behind. Lay back. You're 7k gold behind at 12 minutes. You're after inhibitors. Stop trying to take team fights. And Tig is playing like they're even right now. Like, yes, Tig makes some great sets, but you just can't take the damage. Every time you go in, you're getting melted. Just lay back. Like, they have their jungle right now. They can at least farm. They need to lay back, wait for a slip up. You know, maybe catch this Clint that's sitting over here. Try to play for the mistakes of Sentinel Esports, because if they don't, they're not going to be able to make it to the end game that they need to.
Yeah, the problem for Unicorns, I think, though, is that Clint's a 6-1, man. He is going to be slapping. Oh, a big set on Clint.
Oh, nice set on the Clint. This might be what they need, but oh my, Wizard is already at half health. In comes Death. Hers only gets the kill onto Wizard, and Death, no, a double kill to Hers only. Can he make it a triple? They're locking onto Kyoto. Clark Cutie 2 gets the kill.
GG.
Prince Reaper makes it a triple, and Sentinel may be able to finish the game right here. Full team wipeout. Minions coming down the mid. This may be the first game of the season, Ben.
That hurt my feelings, man. I was rooting for Unicorns, and they just 1 by 1 that team fight again, man. Granger was on his buff when the rest of the team was fighting. Beatrix wasn't even there to add damage. It was Tig sitting in a bush with only 2 of his members around him. It's going to be a tough time to defend. They may be able to defend the Nexus here.
I don't think so. The Nexus is going down, and that is going to be game 1 going to Sentinel Esports of the North American Squad League. First game of the series, first series of the season. I'm hype, and I'm ready for game 2.
Way to end it from, honestly, man, from the side.